This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by the Ridley Report. Hey, Ridley here, reporting in with more Liberty-related New Hampshire election news. First, Denis Goddard of the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is reporting that Free Staters have actually picked up more seats than was originally expected, more than was originally reported, I should say. I had indicated to you that Free State Project members, movers to New Hampshire, had picked up, had won 4 seats. It looks like the number, Denis says, was now more like 5 and possibly as high as 6. Roughly 20 Free Staters sought office, but 6 wins during a bad Republican year is pretty impressive. Another piece of news: the poorly rated Republican targeted by the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance for defeat was defeated. She had run a write-in campaign. She's not really much of a Republican. She's sort of what they call a rhino Democrat running as a Republican. Liz Hager in Concord, and she had mounted a write-in campaign after the NHLA successfully bumped her out, and other Liberty lovers successfully bumped her out in the primary. They put a full-on effort to try and get her on as a write-in, and that failed. She'd been in the House for many years. The Republicans, it turns out, have actually made some inroads this year. They picked up an unexpected 17 seats in the New Hampshire State House. They were projected as of a day or two ago as only pulling up 10. However, Democrats still maintain the majority in the New Hampshire State House, and there's been no change in numbers at the New Hampshire Senate. The Democrats still maintain a majority there. Most significantly and most negatively, the Democrats have maintained a slight majority on the Executive Council, which would have made a huge difference if the Republicans had just won a single seat on that council. Then that would have changed a great number of things. In other news, it looks like all of the Ron Paul Republicans running for Senate, for the U.S. Congress, have failed. I'm thinking of like 4 or 5 of them. Matthews, Delavar, B.J. Lawson. In Lawson's situation, he lost by it was a 2-1 defeat over Lawson by the Democratic incumbent in North Carolina. Of course, there were many other Ron Paul Republicans that sought congressional office during the primaries who were bumped out before getting to the general election. All of these Ron Paul Republicans, of course, were Republicans. I can't wait until we have some Ron Paul Democrats running. Of course, 2 years from now, the election cycle could have completely switched, and things could be against Democrats. According to mainstream media sources, the Bob Barr campaign in New Hampshire went almost nowhere, got less than 1% of the vote. Free Talk Live is reporting that Barr's numbers were almost exactly the same as the numbers achieved by Harry Brown in 1996, when the United States population was much smaller. Well, somewhat smaller. The folks at Free Talk Live are hailing that as an indication that a compromised mainstream libertarian party is no more effective at getting votes than a pure libertarian party. I am actually shocked that he did so badly, because he got, he was not popular, but a well-known congressional figure, former congressman, got a lot of publicity, and still was unable to really outperform Harry Brown. I don't think the number of votes he got, was maybe just a couple thousand more than Harry Brown got. I've been unable to determine any numbers about Chuck Baldwin. I couldn't find anything on his website as of yesterday, November 5th, that indicated how many votes he had received. And I have no idea how many votes he received in New Hampshire, but we do know it was under 1%. Of course, here he was a registered write-in. He was not he was not on the ballot, but votes for him were supposed to count. Now, I don't know if maybe there's been some updates, but I do know he was the candidate endorsed by Ron Paul, although in a lukewarm manner. For what it's worth, I was able to talk 2 other people into voting for him. for what it's worth. He was actually on the ballot in some states. These were longtime Republicans outside the Liberty Movement. Oh, another piece of New Hampshire Liberty news in terms of the election. I think I've got the numbers right. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is reporting that it tagged successfully 90 out of the 150 candidates. Out of the 150 candidates it endorsed, 90 successfully tagged their seats, won their seats. Of course, some of those were incumbents, many were challengers. A few were Democrats, but probably most were Republicans. I don't know if they endorsed any Libertarian Party candidates, but not very many Libertarian Party candidates ran for State House. Those who did fared poorly, none receiving more than 4% of the vote. Although, in fairness, I should point out most of those State House runs, you've got somewhere between 4 and 8 different people running for somewhere between 2 and 4 seats. I would urge everyone who's in the Libertarian Party, if you're going to be involved in state politics and you're going to run for office, please run as a Democrat or as a Republican. I ran as a Republican and I didn't even lift a finger on my campaign, and I got 12% with 6 candidates running. Libertarians, in some cases, put a lot of effort into candidacies that only got them 2 to 4%. But I'm just as libertarian as they are. That R next to your name automatically guarantees you get a lot of votes. People may not even know anything about you, and they'll still vote for you. And the same goes when you're a Democrat. That's all I have to report for now. It's Dave Ridley signing out for RidleyReport.com. This November 6th, 2008, signing out from New Hampshire.
Do you have a message for the Ron Paul movement? Do you have a product for the New Hampshire Liberty community? Then stop keeping it a secret. Head on over to
RidleyReport.com. Email Ridley
and purchase an ad. There is no humiliation nor privation Ridley will not endure to ensure your message gets out. RidleyReport.com